Welcome to the Insider's Guide to Custom Homes. I'm Rick Bell, founder of Landmark Custom Homes. After 4 decades building custom and semi-custom homes across South Florida, I created this show to help you navigate the journey from dream to design all the way to move-in day. Whether you're building a cozy retreat or a 10,000 square foot legacy estate, this podcast is your roadmap to building smart. In each episode, we break down the process from assembling your dream team to choosing the right materials, managing timelines, and protecting your investment. No fluff, no jargon, just real-world experience and straight talk to help you stay in control. Over the years, I've seen it all: the highs, the hiccups, and the unexpected in custom home building. This show is where I share those lessons to help you build smarter, avoid costly mistakes, and turn your vision into reality with confidence. In today's episode, we will delve into the line items in our budget called contingency. What is a contingency, and how does it relate to building a custom home? Webster's defines it as something liable to happen as an adjunct to or result of something else, or in construction terms, an unforeseen condition. In construction, and particularly in custom home building, you are almost certainly going to deal with constructability issues and details not clearly defined by the design team. The contingency budget line item allocates money to fund these unforeseen events. Let me give you an example. On a recent project, the architect designed a 7-foot wide overhang around a Polynesian-styled home. The roof was to be covered with Ludovici concrete tile, and the underside was to be clad in tongue-and-groove Brazilian teak, both very heavy materials. Unfortunately, the engineer did not design the structure to adequately support the weight of the roof, causing major sagging and deflection throughout the structure. How did we deal with this problem? The engineer designed steel brackets to be placed on all corners of the building and reinforced the underside of the roof soffit with additional plywood. The cost for the materials and labor was substantial, but the owner did not need to add to the budget. The costs were paid by the contingency line item. I'm not saying all mistakes by designers are not their ultimate responsibility, but to avoid delays while the owner negotiates compensation, the contingency allows construction to proceed efficiently without incurring substantial delays. What are other common reasons for a contractor to use the contingency? Scope gaps, missing design details, and code changes can frequently happen. Let's look at each of these individually. First, we'll discuss the scope gap. The scope of work refers to the details a subcontractor is held responsible for under their contract, and a detail not included but necessary to complete the work is referred to as a scope gap. Let's use another example. A tile contractor is asked to submit a proposal for installing all floor and wall tile in the home, including the main floors, the bathrooms, and the balconies. As you might guess, this is a large scope of work in a custom home and requires a detailed proposal from the tile subcontractor. The proposal shows line items for the square footage of the tile to be installed in each area, as well as the prep work for the job, including leveling of the floor and squaring up the walls. The contract is executed, but before the tile contractor starts his work, he notices the shower walls have not been treated with waterproof paint. He assumed this was to be in the painter's scope of work, and the painter believed the tile contractor would do the waterproofing. Since neither had this work specifically included in their scope of work, the contractor must now issue a change order to either the painter or the tile sub to waterproof the walls. This missing scope of work, or scope gap, can be paid for from the contingency accounted for in the budget. Missing or inadequate design details can often lead to costs not accounted for in their corresponding budget line items. We already discussed how a structural engineer might not properly design for the weight of the roof, but what else might a designer miss? The architect can fail to provide a notation on a window in a bedroom, requiring specialized design to allow for a quick exit in the event of a fire. And this egress type of window was ordered as a standard window and now needs to be changed out. The cost is $1,500. Again, the contingency budget funds the replacement expense. The job can proceed without delay, and the owner can then request compensation from their architect. Be aware that many architects disclaim their errors in their contracts and fight hard not to pay for their omissions. We will discuss what is called errors and omissions in future episodes. But for now, the costs are accounted for without upward adjustment in the overall budget. Building officials, idiosyncrasies, and code changes can also occur during the construction process. An outlet may be required by an inspector and can cost hundreds of dollars. The outlet might not be shown on the plan and technically might not be needed, but fighting with the inspector and time wasted during this process will probably cost far more than the cost of the added outlet. The contingency is again used to cover this unexpected cost. So, what amount of money should be set aside in the contingency reserves? That's a great question, and you will find different answers depending on who you speak to. If the design is extremely complex, like a state-of-the-art modern home with bespoke features like 40-foot cantilever concrete balconies and state-of-the-art electronics, you might see a contingency equal to 5% of the overall cost to build. Conversely, if the design is simple with traditional features and finishes, your builder may use a 2% contingency. As custom homes are all unique, there are as many examples of potential contingencies as there are home designs. A well-thought-out budget with a reasonable contingency can be used to offset these unforeseen conditions, allowing you to keep your overall budget on track, giving you peace of mind during the construction process. You will find the key terms and a point-by-point summary of this episode in the show notes and download them at the Insider's Guide to CustomHomes.com or TIGTCH.com, and you can also leave a review. I truly hope you benefit from the information provided in this episode, and I look forward to discussing many more topics to help you navigate your custom home build. In future episodes, we'll dive deeper into essentials like the payment applications, building mock-ups, and how to handle change orders effectively. If you found this episode helpful, please subscribe and share it with someone thinking about building. I'm Rick Bell, and this is the Insider's Guide to Custom Homes. Let's build your masterpiece the Landmark way. Stay tuned and enjoy the journey.